Can I do a thing?
Hello! It designed make a terrain out of this piece of plastic. So I have this sheet plastic, I guess. It's for like an advertisement for an old job. But the point is that I've been building like these ruins, like the GW ruins. Those are like 60 bucks. So yeah, just build your own out of cardboard. That's what I recommend. But so I'm getting the general shape right now, and this line that I make right here is for the second floor. So, you know, 5 inches is about like one floor, and I mean you don't have to exactly do that, but it's pretty good idea. So yeah, you sketch out just the remaining building that's left, and then I cut that out with my hobby knife. So in order to like maximize on space, I drew two buildings on here. In the end, I only really ended up working on one after a lot of alternating, just changing the design of it. So here I'm remeasuring because I felt that what I had left of the building wouldn't work very well. So, I just quickly redraw a lot of what the building has. So now it's, a little taller. The second floor, which will be destroyed, has a little bit more like space to it, more cover. But it also has like less area to like pop out and shoot people. So I need a second floor for the building, and the easiest way to make sure it will fit and look nice is to sketch it out. And here I kind of want this second part of the floor that's disconnected but still attached by like rebar or steel or something that's in there. So after cutting out the second floor, it's kind of time to glue it in. I'm primarily using a hot glue, but I have used super glue for this before. It's just a little bit more finicky. And well, after gluing it together, I brought it up, and it looks pretty good. The like middle floating section, it's just three toothpicks in there to get it to like float, but it's nice. And well, here I'm checking to see if this can of acetone would look nice as like an additional like tank or big water reserve. But I didn't really go with it in the end. But I do like to reuse my sprue sometimes in creative ways. So I use a lot of sprue on these. But long straight pieces will look like rebar or just like steel frames that are trying to like hold everything together. So I cut out a bunch of it and just glued it on, seeing if it would like look nice and hold. thing I think is missing from a lot of like terrain is upper like details that are kind of out of sight, but you can still see them. So I like to take a bunch of this like clamshell packaging from a Ravaged Star tank I bought, and I like to glue them up in the rafters of the building and kind of like make an amorphous blob, along with a lot of like extra windshield wiper parts. Yeah. So I cut out a door here and a couple windows off camera. It's just kind of important to like have a space your minis can like shoot through or go through. But yeah, it's pretty nice. And then starts the greebling. I collect a lot of scrap. Just take it, start fitting it places. If it looks nice, it works. If it doesn't, find somewhere else it looks nice. But yeah, it's just all about taking stuff and fitting it where it looks good. A lot of greebles that I do are just made out of these bottle caps from everything. You stack a couple of them together, it looks like some kind of like pipe or a terminal station or something. But you just stick a couple on top of each other, it creates like a kind of a new shape. So I'm thinking if this is for my death guard, it's like some kind of like toxin pump. So I want to put like a wire in there, you know, connect it to the roof. So I have like this clear tubing. Don't remember what it's for, but I'm gonna use it. Yeah, so I just cut a hole in the top of the bottle cap and in this little clamshell pack, stick the tube in each, and kind of looks like it's a mechanical machine of some sort of pumping. I don't know. It works. It looks like a thing. That's all it needs to look like. So, yeah, the scrap aesthetic doesn't really require genius level like descriptions and like engineering. It's all about scrap. You know, these people take scrap to build it. You know, it works, but it looks terrible and barely functions. That's like the scrap aesthetic to me. But you know, so this is a part I find very important to building scrap houses and scrap ruins is the sheet plates. It's a lot of just cut out parts of GW boxes. I believe this is a Magnus the Red box. Yeah, it looks like it. But yeah, just cut out squares, strips, little thin ribbons. You can use scissors, knives. Just cut it out, glue it on, make it look bolted together in a hurry, trying to like protect yourself. Alright, you're building shelter fast from a storm, a desert, or raiders, anything. Just it's got to be built quickly. This is what makes it look like scrapped and junked together. It's all about these people taking what they find and building something out of it. Now, in my opinion, the fun part about these builds is adding in little greebly details from like bits or like little 3D printed things. I maybe do like one or two on each scrap building. Try not to like use all of my stuff, but enough that it looks cool. So right here, I'm putting in this little rail to attach a gun to. I believe it's a storm bolter, is what they're called. But yeah, now instead of just looking like a ruined building, it's a fortification. You know, they've set up camp, and now they're on this ruined building shooting at people coming near their camp. You know, this is their hideout as like the Death Guard. They're hiding here. And another fun thing to add, if you can get any spare wires or like tubing, they make great little details. I like taking scrapped electronics, taking a lot of the wires and putting them in the builds. Because, you know, if you're building something out of scrap, you don't exactly have the luxury of premium wiring. So this is just the best wiring that you can get if you're trying to like just ramshackle something together. So this is the final build of it. I found a lot of these green little scrap torn pieces, and I just spray painted the whole thing silver. It makes painting it a little easier. Since it's scrap, I'm going for a rusty scrap. So I plan on doing everything with a black wash and then a nice rust. So I was using a brush to apply the black wash. Usually I use an airbrush, but I just don't feel like using it, and you don't have to use it. So I'm using one of my favorite hobby tools, a big sponge. So I just soak it up into the sponge, rub it on the damn thing. Yeah, yeah, just rubbing the sponge on there. It gets it on there quickly. Uh, you know, it'll dry, and all the mess that's getting onto my cutting board will also be cleaned up with the same sponge. It'll just slurp all up that extra paint, extra black wash, and it'll look nice. So this is the rusting stage. I take makeup brushes. You go to like a Five Below, get a pack of makeup brushes for like $4. Super good for like dry brushing. I like to load them up in this orange paint. It's from Army Painter. It's called Dried Rust. Just load that up, start sprinkling it on there. It gets in like the edges, it dries super like matte, so it'll make all the like rust look rusted. And you just kind of sponge it in the corners, uh, not really on the main face of the plate, just kind of corners and edges and anywhere that would rust naturally. So I made this kind of hot glue death guard symbol, and I want it to like stand out, but I also want like this Death Guard flair to it. So Death Guard's all about mutations and diseases and toxins. So I took the mutation aspect, and I just this building's growing a Death Guard symbol now. So I just kind of painted it how I paint regular skin. I don't exactly remember what colors I used, but it doesn't matter. It's largely however you paint skin. So I'm going for this kind of sickly Death Guard skin, like a gross mutant, just ugh. And after doing a little highlighting of the skin, I came in with this green wash. The Death Guard's color scheme, at least the base one and the one that I paint them as, is this very sickly green. So this kind of ties the models in with the terrain for me, and it makes it look sickly and diseased. So this is the terrain, and I think it's time for final reveals. It's me again. It's my terrain for the Death Guard. I like to make a lot of this. My aesthetic is kind of scrap town. A lot of it's inspired by Bill making stuff and his rusters. Uh, but I just like making scrap. It's a little easier than symmetrical stuff, and it's fun. Yeah. So here's my scrap buildings. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I just hit 100 subscribers like the other day, so I'm pretty psyched. Thank you so much. I don't know. I've got a lot of projects, but if you want to see something specific, I'm not really picky about anything. I make a lot of everything. So, tell me what you want to see next. I do a lot of the scrap terrain. I can probably put a whole board of it together and I don't know, make some little scatter terrain or something for a scrap theme place, and or just spend some time painting some of my larger scrap buildings that I haven't gotten around to. But if you want to see those, let me know. Leave a comment. Be pretty cool. Thank you.